Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our March luncheon. It is our first luncheon of the year since we had a few hiccups in February. I don't remember. We were supposed to be severely bad weather, and then it was a very gorgeous day. So thank you guys again for joining us. I don't really have much to talk about other than we do have our Mother's Day brunch coming up on May 13th. It is our spring fundraiser. You can find that information on Facebook, our website, so on and so forth. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Other than that, I'm going to pass it off to Charlene. Oh, hi. Hey, girl. Talk about the volunteer spotlight.
Hello. This month the volunteer spotlight for Lisa Partita. She's been a volunteer on a few cases of mine, and she's done very well, and we just want to acknowledge her for that.
I brought it with me, actually.
Hello, everyone. So Monica, here I am. I'm going to go over a few things. We have upcoming. We have the volunteer fair. So Voting President has its first annual volunteer fair, and we're inviting different organizations to come out from the community to kind of show what volunteer they have in the organization, and that will be at the Junior Art League on April 4th, and that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So right now we have 8 people signed up, organizations, and that's the Harbor, Food Bank of the Golden Crescent, Community Services, New Century Hospice, Meals on Wheels, and Public Health Texas. And I'm still waiting for responses from other organizations because we can get more in there. So if you want to come out and see what opportunities are out there, you have to come visit us. Also, volunteer surveys were sent out. If you haven't sent them back to us, please send that back to us so we can present it back in the April luncheon. And then we also sent out the policies and procedures. If that hasn't been sent back to us, please get that back to us. So as you can, if you need us to resend it to us, resend it to you, we will. And then we also have, we're planning an open discussion for all our volunteers, and we're planning it for May. And it's just gonna be open discussion. We're gonna have all volunteers, or not older volunteers, or seasoned volunteers, and then we'll invite our new volunteers. So if there's any questions that you would want to discuss with other volunteers, that would be a great opportunity for you to come in and talk to the other volunteers. And next, that's all I have. Next, we will have Flora, and she's going to do a case spotlight. Is it going in and out? Hello?
Hello, everyone. The case that I would like to spotlight is out of Goliad County, and it's a fairly new case. It has 5 children, and the 2 older children are 10 and 8 years old, and this is the second time they've been in care. They came into care because of neglectful supervision. The 3 younger ones are 2, 1, and 5 months old. And the 2 older ones, they're very outgoing. They love to sit with me and like play card games, Pokemon. They're really good kids, really good kids. And then the little ones, the 2-year-old, she's real sassy, and she's the boss of the whole family. She's real cute. She just wants to mother her 2 younger siblings. It's really cute. But They're placed in a group home in Gonzales. And mom is working services. The father is in jail. He probably won't get out. But like I said, it's a fairly new case. So anyone that's interested, please get with me. And then I do have a couple of others that, just get with me if you're interested. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited y'all could come. I'm here twofold today. I'm going to talk a little bit about continuing education because we all have to have 12 hours of continuing education every year. So our books this year, the requisite sent down by Texas CASA is that you get 4 hours for every book that you read. They ask volunteers and staff and board to just read one book for your continuing education, and then get the rest of your education from other sources like magazines, movies, online classes, and things like that. So I brought 5 books today, 5 or 6 books. If anybody is interested, you can stop by my table over there on your way out and take a look. So I tried to get a variety of topics. So whatever you might be interested in, I got books. So. And many of you got gifts today because I love giving gifts. One of the things that has changed in our funding formula is the incorporation of our collaborative family engagement activities. I know we don't talk a lot about CFE anymore, and the reason is because it's become our standard way of doing business when we're dealing with the children and families. So we don't have to say, let's do a CFE activity when we can just say, hey, let's have this conversation about the people that were important to you, the people that are missing you, the people that you are missing, and things like that. So it's not an extra activity. It's something that you already do in your conversation. But if you get stuck, here are some neat little toys and things that you can use to remind you about the topics that will be important to children. This is a regular deck of cards that you could play crazy egg, fish, or anything with, but it also has topics on there too that could encourage your conversation with your children if you get stuck. Our conversations are so much deeper than they used to, like what's your favorite pizza, what's your favorite game, or things like that. Now we really want to know about the child. Really want to know about the family that they came from and the family that we hope that they're going to return to. So this is a fun little deck of cards that you can take with you on your visit. I also put in here a mobility map. And this is something that you can do with your older children, or you can do with a parent about the places that they live. Many of our kids have been in several places. Many families move a lot. And it gives people an opportunity to just think, well, when I lived in that house over there on East Street, my best friend lives right next door. And, that might be somebody that's important to that child that they feel like they've lost that connection, that we can help them get that connection back. So this is another fun activity. If you're not visiting with them, maybe your children are a little too far away that you don't visit them every month. These are great conversations that you can have on the phone or via video, FaceTime and things like that. So this little handy booklet is just some other tools that many of us have discussed in the past, but if you need a refresher, that's here handy. And if you want to know more, you want to talk about this, I'm always here. And then here is the manual on the go. If you are wondering about the activities that you're doing and how it fits in the process, this is a quick, easy way to look it up. The importance of family meetings and things like that. The importance of connecting those children with the people that have been important to them their whole life. So that's my bit for today. our funding is gonna be based on these activities, so you'll be working with your supervisor as you put them in your notes in the Optima. The best way to choose the correct activity for the drop-down box to make sure that all of our requirements are being met and all of our funding needs are being met too. So if you have any questions or anything, you can talk to your supervisors, or I'm always there. Thank you.
The CFE tools, that's true. It's pretty much become the way we do things. It doesn't stand alone any longer. So thank you all for putting that information into your notes as when you visit with a child or with a family member or with someone associated with the child, that we have this information, that we have found connections for this child, or we have done a tool. But sometimes you don't have to just take the tool and do it from start to finish, but you take the gist of the tool and you're going to incorporate that into your visit. And it's not uncommon for you to probably visit with a child and say, well, you lived here, tell me about that. And then you lived here, tell me about that, and you report back, and that's where you're going to find out what they do and if we can help get them reconnected. So thanks for the tools. For our speaker, let's do a little bit of an introduction. So how many volunteers do we have today? Hands up, yeah, okay, great, thank you all. And board members? All right, thanks. And how about staff? Yay, okay, that's your audience. Do we have any guests? No, okay, one guest, of course, the most important guest, the speaker. Thank you. I noticed that we do have some birthdays, so a big shout out to Bob Vincent, happy birthday. You're welcome. Jennifer Wilson, and we also have Sasha Burns and Diane Merckx. And happy anniversary as volunteers. We've got Heather Linville, Jennifer Wilson, Kevin Parsley, Eileen Coyle, and Beth. Thank you, Beth. Doing 9 years. Thank you. I just wanted to kind of touch on a couple of things. Thank you all for those who got up early, went and traipsed all over the Capitol. Capitol Day was a great success. Texas CASA has been very excited about the work that was done that day. And I know that you all really pitched in. It was new to so many people, but you did a great job. You were there, you were representing Golden Crescent CASA along with the other 73 CASA programs, and it was noticed. Thank you for the great work. We do have every Friday, there is going to be a Texas CASA legislative check-in. It's a Zoom meeting, and it's at noon on Fridays. I sent out that email on Monday. Let me know if you need me to resend it out. I hope you'll join me if you're interested in the legislative advocacy team. I think that would be a great time to find out what's going on. And Friday's kind of an important day because that's the last day to file bills. So then we'll be able to, after that, we'll focus on bill tracking, see what's going on, what bills we need to be aware of, so that we can reach out to our elected officials and encourage them to support or not support certain legislation. April 4th, that's right. This is our first ever. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And what we thought is that we would open up a volunteer fair with organizations, ours included, of people who serve the community and children and families. So that's going to be at the Junior League building. It's going to be from 10 to 2. We've got several organizations coming, and I hope you'll swing through and take a look. So this is going to be a chance to get to introduce our organization and others that work with us. So that should be fun. Oh gosh, and you already talked about the upcoming peer-to-peer conversations. Linda Owens, one of our volunteers, has suggested, and I think it's going to be great that we have conversations facilitated for volunteers to meet with other volunteers to talk about casework, how they can do things, and how to best solve some problems. So I'm looking forward to that. We're thinking May getting that established, but maybe we could float out a trial balloon a little bit earlier, but we'll keep you posted. And what else? Surveys. Oh golly, another survey, please. We're hoping to get those done by the 31st. I was reviewing those, and it was really nice to see some continuing education topics that were proposed. And it was really nice to see that both the volunteer and the board surveys, they really wanted to build working relationships with all the within the organization. So that is something that we can work on going forward. All right, so March 31st is the date that we would like to ramp things up. We do look forward to presenting that information in April at the volunteer luncheon service. And then, I won't go too much of it. Okay, great. So this is the stats for February. We had 159 children. 27 children had to volunteer. So we had an 83% coverage of volunteer child, which was really good. We had 101 families and 19 families had to volunteer. And that's for 81% coverage. We had 6 children leave care and all had a volunteer. Jade Rice, she served 10 months. Linda Owens, 24 months. Thank you. Kathy Tharp, 70 months. Marla, you did 27 months. And then Alicia Partita, she worked on her case for 32 months. I think that's deserving a round of applause. Thank you. So we saw one child adopted by the family, one child adopted by a relative. We saw 2 children placed with relatives, and we saw 2 children adopted by non. So that's really great work, and it shows our CFD practice really is working. The majority of our children go back to families, and that's what we hoped. So going forward, let's see, we had 6 children coming here, and that's 3 families, and they do need volunteers. So do reach out to Monica or Kelsey, and we'd love to get your case done. I'd like to introduce our board president, Tracy Moore. Come on up, Tracy. Oh,
Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy Moore, the new board president effective in January. We have several board members here today: Celeste Hunter, Regina May, new board members, by the way, Regina May, Tammy Coxer, who serves as secretary, Marco Flores, our past president. I think that's everybody, but we're all excited to be here and excited to get to know our volunteers better and find out what you have going on, how we as a board can better help you and serve you. Something that Marco is working on is our advisory board. The advisory board is a group of people who, they're not volunteers, they're not employees, they don't serve on the board, but they're people in our communities who can help advise us. He is working on finding people in the different communities that we serve. So if you think of anybody, reach out to Marco. Several of the board members attended CASA Day at the Capitol. It was very informative. It was a great day. We were glad to get to participate in that. And quite a few of the board members are also looking forward to being involved in the legislative advocacy team. That correct? Yes. So we have that going on. Quite a few of us attended a board talk this week that was put on by Texas CASA, which was a great resource to help the board, learn about how we can improve things that we can do better, and provided lots of resources that Texas CASA makes available to us as a board. Something that we're really working hard on is our spring fundraiser, which is the Mother's Day brunch. That's May 13th. Our fund development committee meets again on Thursday. We're just continuing to move forward with that. We're looking for sponsors, underwriters. So if any of you know any business owners or have any ideas on that, feel free to reach out to Regina, who's co-chairing that committee. Did I leave anything out, board members? Anything else I need to mention? Okay. That being said, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, Mary Beth Niver, who's with Inc. Innovative Network of Knowledge. Welcome.
That's my mom over there. I need to do good, but she's gonna tell me my tongue. I am Mary Beth Nyberg. I work with Inc. Innovative Network of Knowledge. You guys probably have heard of BCFS, Baptist Children's and Family Services. We rebranded in September at Head Start. I am a coordinator for Early Head Start. I am the health and wellness coordinator. Before that, I was at ERSI, so I was in charge of enrollment, selection, and attendance for the program also. So I'm from Hallettsville. I live in Milwaukee County. I am also on the Milwaukee County Welfare Board. I serve on that board. I'm also on the Down Syndrome Board of South Texas. So I give back to the community, and I've always taught our children how to do that. So I believe in the CASA program and what you guys are doing. So it's very important. As a health and wellness coordinator, I'm also their CPR instructor to make sure that all our staff are certified in CPR and first aid. I'm also an infant college teacher. So I have lots of little hats that I put on. That's quite a people's background, but anyway. So we are open over here. If you're local to Victoria, you know what the old Albertsons building is. And that's where Early Head Start is. We have 12 classrooms over there. Early Head Start is birth to 3 years old. It's not what you guys typically think about Head Start 3 and 4-year-olds. We are finally getting the Early Head Start over here in South Texas. Our grant under Inc. covers all the way from Fort Lavaca all the way north to Bernie. And I travel to all sites in between, meaning Edna, Aquarium, Yoakum is fixing to open up the site, and it will be our next biggest site behind Victoria, and it will serve DeWitt and Lavaca County. And then you say Cuero, Lavaca, and New Braunfels. We also have a partnership with a child care over in New Braunfels. So I do lots of driving around. Ask her, I'm up to her here and there while I'm driving around. Most of you have heard of Head Start. Head Start's been around since 1965, so I was just a young little pup when it started. They serve over 40 million families, so it's a big thing. But the Early Head Start is the up and coming of Head Start. So we're very fortunate to have this in the communities we live in. Children who are enrolled in Head Start are more likely to graduate from college, attend high school, and so they're more likely to be successful in what they do and have improved social, emotional, and behavioral in themselves. Head Start costs nothing to these families, nothing. In Early Head Start, we provide the diapers, we provide the wipes, we provide the formula, unless it's a specialized formula. So these families do not have to pay for anything. You bring your child and a change of clothes. If you don't have that, we'll see to it that that child gets a change of clothes too. We're always looking for volunteers up there. Someone to come in and read, someone to come in and talk with babies. So I can leave my card up here if anybody's interested in that. But why I'm here to talk to you guys is the criteria. Of selection, we always want to serve the most needed child. The most needed child is typically a child that has a lower income, but not all of our children qualify on lower income. Some of our children qualify because they have a disability or a delay and they're enrolled in ECI. Before I started with Head Start, I'm a 20-year veteran and developmental specialist from Region 3 as an early intervention specialist. So we recruit heavily for those children also, but you guys also serve children that we would like to see in our program, and we do have the foster kids in our program. They do have greater need. They've been moved around. I heard you say families, the child lived here, lived here, lived here. And she's also talked about, this family's moved from here to here to here to here. And so that child needs stability in their life. And that's what we provide in those classrooms. Our classrooms are really small. I wish I could pay for childcare like we have there. The classrooms are 2 teachers to 8 children. I could not buy that for my children, childcare. That's incredible. And if you pay for childcare, you know what it costs, and you probably have about 15 to 22-year-olds in the classroom your child is in. So we are like the cream of the crop for these children, and these children that you serve, you know, we want to see them in our program. So qualifying for Head Start, if the child has SNAP, food stamps, that is an automatic eligibility. If the child has a disability, PCI, speech, physical therapy, that's automatic eligibility. You guys, if the child is in foster care, that's an automatic eligibility. So if we have space, we will, you know, the selection criteria moves those children up. So all of our children are not lower income. The ECI children are not always lower income. Hence that provides a nice little balance in our classrooms. We help the families, our family specialists meet with the families on the weekly and make sure that the child is current in their immunization, their well baby checkups. Early Head Start, if you have a young child, you're going to the doctor about every 2 months to do a well checkup for that first year of life. You're not, you know it, you've done it. So it's those parents there, they may not have had that opportunity growing up. So our family specialists help them do that. We have partnerships in the community with medical and dental. We make sure that those children have dentists. They brush their teeth every day. They all have their own little toothbrush. They, the food that they serve is wonderful. We have a wonderful cook over there at Red River. We have a wonderful cook up in Bernie too. These children have fresh fruit twice a day. They're not getting that at home. They are getting it in our program. They get breakfast, lunch, and snack. And we serve by the food program, so we make sure that the meals are balanced for these kids. Because most times they're going down to, you know, the local drive, you can get a bag of chips and red soda water, which I can't stand, but anyway. So our children can start at 6 weeks. We are working and have a program we're working now with expected mothers. We'd like to see those expected mothers get those well checks, and those expected mothers will have to qualify based on the federal poverty guidelines. But we will help those mothers as far as getting them in, and then we will have a space for that baby, because get that mama back to work and get her going, or get her back out in the community to help. So that it helps those young mothers that are having children. We have lots of visitors come in and out of our center at Red River. Casa is always welcome there. If you guys have a child there, we would love to see you come over. You just sign in, show your badge, and make a copy and keep it. But we like to have interaction with the community also. When we fill out documentation for the family, if you're working with a family that needs to register for Head Start, and I'll leave these here. This is a QR code. You can scan this QR code and you can fill out a pre-application online. This is a list of the documentation that is needed. Birth certificates. I know you guys don't always are able to get a birth certificate on a child, but an immunization record would suffice as showing the age of the child. We have to see the birth date somehow. So getting that birth certificate is not always possible when you've got children bouncing from place to place. As far as proof of medical insurance, you know, we're looking to see, I would suspect the majority of the children, not all, would have Medicaid. So, you know, need that information. Who has the legal rights to decide for medical and educational decisions? We'll need documentation of that. So sometimes it's just, I don't think it would be you guys, it probably be a CPS caseworker sometimes. It may be grandma, it may be auntie, but you know, who has the legal rights to make those decisions for that child? We need that in written documentation for that child. The proof of income is either on the poverty guideline, that could be like a 1040, be a pay stub, could be child support, could be TANF, or a supplemental income if the child gets SSI, that's not Social Security. Even the SNAP letter. In April, the state determined April of 22 that if the child is eligible for SNAP food stamps, that shows financial need. So that's helping a lot of our families be enrolled. And I know you guys probably just heard that the SNAP guidelines for food is lessening what the families are getting by about $180 a month. So that's about a week of food for a family of 5. And so that's That's gonna be tough on these families. So the food banks will get busy. The food bank does also help us out of San Antonio with food for the children too, so we get that. And then all children, as I said, need that current physical and dental, and our family specialists help these families stay on top of that, getting that done. So what questions do y'all have? What's your thoughts on Head Start, early Head Start? There you go. Come on, here you go.
What's your service region? I know you mentioned South Texas, so all of our counties? Okay.
Tell me your counties.
We have Calhoun, DeWitt, Goliad, Gonzales, and Stevens.
Okay, the two Gs, Goliad and Gonzales and Refugio. Those are not in our catchment areas, but there are Head Start programs in those. Our grants, we are grant funded. And INC stands for Innovative Network of Knowledge that we granted. We used to have owls, and we like owls. I'm not a fan of octopus or deer. That's not here or there. That's just not my preference. I like owls. But so we do have in Vaca, Calhoun, that would be Fort Vaca. We're down there. We actually Vaca, we have Cuero, Yoakum, and so that would also encompass Kalispell, Moulton, China. As I'm a Vaca County resident, I can tell you those quickly. All the way up to Gillespie County, which is in Kendall County, which is 30. Gillespie is New Braunfels. So we cover some areas you guys are. But like I said, our biggest center down here is Victoria and fixing to be Yoakum, and Yoakum will open probably before the summer gets here. So if you guys are covering the Vaca and DeWitt counties, call me, let me know. We'll get you hooked up with an application so you can help your families access childcare for those families, because that's important, especially when they've been faced with grandma and grandma's thinking, I don't know if I signed up for this to take all these children in. I think, what did you mention? The family, you spotlighted the family that had several young children, and I'm sitting there going, 5 months old, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old. These are all early Head Start eligible, and they're in the CASA system. So we need to figure out how to help that parent or grandparent or whoever is the caregiver get those children in the place they need to be. What else?
Okay, so you mentioned the foster food program, or the foster program, and with these being foster children, who are faced with foster employees, or children that are faced with both.
Both. Yeah, both. So as long as there's documentation, yes. Yes,
Do you guys offer any time for transportation for the local community?
we do not have transportation. We work a little bit different than a child care center. We are open from 8 to 2:30. The Office of Head Start says a young child should not be away from their primary caregiver any longer than now. So the birth-free child does not need to be away from mama, grandma, whoever's the primary caregiver any longer than that. But in that time, there also, there's curriculum that we use. We use the Broad Street curriculum and the Kinder music. So these children are getting really top-notch educational programs. Our teachers are all certified with CBAs. They have continuing education like y'all have to do also. So we make sure that these kids are getting good educational opportunities also. But transportation is not something we offer. You got an idea how to get it? That'd be good. You got a big vehicle and a lot of car seats. What other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you follow the school calendar, or y'all open 12 months out of the year?
Early Head Start is open 12 months out of the year. However, next week I will be on spring break. We do follow the school calendar somewhat. We're out for Christmas, we're out for Thanksgiving, spring break, and then the July 4th week, we are all doing our training, our annual trainings that's necessary for Head Start and for our grant. Yes.
Children living in
In our grant, yes. Yoakum would be the nearest center. we're hoping to see it open before the summer gets here. The building's set, it's actually behind the Yoakum High School. If you know where Yoakum is, there's a big blue building back there that's a modular, that they put together. The playground is already set out there. These children go outside twice a day, so they get fresh air and run and play and get that high energy settled in. But yes, I believe that would be, I want to say our AKW grant has, I don't know how far that would be from Gonzales. That's too far, right? I think so. I'm not sure. That's not our grant. I work for the EHS CCP grant, which is Early Head Start Child Care Partnership. And then we also have the one that's been here forever with us as our sister grant, JBL, which is Jackson, Victoria, Lavaca, and Calhoun. They just put the other. But you can Google Head Start and put a zip code in, and it'll come up and tell you where they are and if they have an early Head Start. Like I said, early Head Start is the up and coming for the Head Start programs now. We're raising them up, starting at the beginning. What other question? Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that, so the ECR children may qualify on disability and speech bullying, non-disabilities.
Yes.
I guess my thought, I'm just kind of wondering, does Head Start your early Head Start facilities or Head Start as a, and on the whole, do you employ nurses? Just curious.
Do we employ nurses? No, we do not employ nurses. No, the ECI program here at Region 3 comes in, the OT, PT, the speech. In fact, I think we had about 5 in there today. So we like to have those, and they do provide services in the classroom because, and I'll put my ECI hat on, that is the natural environment of the child. That is where the child is spending their time. So let's teach. We have a little guy that has a gait trainer, Walker, as you would know it. And so he is in the natural environment working with his physical therapist, and so maneuvering down the hallway out to the play yard or what have you. So he's functional in what he's doing. But that's just one example. We do have in Bernie, we had a child that was severe. Actually, he's a foster child. A lot of stuff. But the staff, the foster parent came in and trained the staff. The home health nurses would come in, and they're always allowed in there too. The staff that provided her therapies were also there. This child was trained to everything. She had everything. But she got a doctor, so it's kind of cool. She moved on, so we're excited. We're sad to see her leave, but we're happy to see her leave. What other questions? You guys have had great questions. What I'm going to do is leave a paper up here, and what it is a checklist of the documentation, so keep it. And like I said, the QR code is on there. You can scan it and help a parent fill out an application, be it in this area. And you would pick, like, say it's Victoria. You would pick Victoria Early Head Start, or you would pick Port Lavaca. Port Lavaca's fixing over probably in 2 weeks. They just finished their licensing. We do go through childcare licensing also. So we have a lot of criteria. Yes, ma'am.
Just whatever. If a foster family doesn't live in a county that doesn't have early Head Start, who would like to drive to Victoria, is that a problem? Coming across the county line?
We try to make, we don't want to take from other programs, but we have parents that work in the Victoria area and live in an area that there is no Head Start. So if we, and it's again, space available. Keep in mind, those classrooms have 2 teachers at all times with only 8 children. We also have floaters who come in that classroom. So if that teacher needs a break, bathroom break, or whatever, there will never not be 2 adults in that classroom. So yes. Sorry.
Waiting list.
What I tell parents is the longer you wait, the longer you're gonna wait. So if you think you want to fill out an application, we will always take an application, always. We will never turn an applicant away. But our 2-year-old room stays full. Like But people move, people come and go. The world moves around. So, yeah, I always tell parents, the longer you wait, the longer you're gonna wait. So we don't have like, a restaurant, you got 90 minutes for you to get checked. That's not. Yes, ma'am.
What I wanted to know is, do kids get kicked out of this, Head Start if they don't, like, say they're only doing once or twice a week instead of 5 days a week, you know?
That's a good question. We have an attendance policy. The parents are told that when they sign up. It's just like the school district. There is an attendance policy. So, if you're not gonna bring Johnny but Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're not gonna be the right fit. He's not gonna meet that educational need and social skills needs that he needs. And just developing that routine and that schedule. You walk in the classroom, you see their schedule, and it's broken down by 15. We're doing this, and those teachers are hitting those 15-minute intervals. But yes, we do have an attendance policy, and we expect it to be at 97%. Doctor's notes happen. We've had children get sick. We've all been there. There's a wicked tummy bug going around right now. And so, that happens. But just on the regular, you don't come Tuesday, Thursdays. We can't do that. We have to go.
How many kids do you have?
In Victoria, we have full classroom. We are not quite full. I think we're at 65, 3. Something like that. We have some openings here and there. The baby room stays full and the 2-year-old room stays full. But as children age up, we have to move them, just like if your child's been in childcare, your baby starts walking, they go to the toddler room. When the toddler room goes into the 12 to 18 month, the 18 month goes up to the 2, and so forth and so on. So we're moving kids up as quick as we can. If the child turns 3, we will not take them out necessarily unless we have a waiting list. Right now we do, so we have some children leaving on the spring break, but we try to let them stay to the semester break. We just can't meet the needs right now. I mean, it's incredible. It's taken off like wildfire here.
Well, two things. So where do the children go? The 3-year-olds that have been a part of the program, what usually happens with those?
The
children?
3-year-olds in Victoria go to FW Gross, the elementary school. So they have to be, and in Texas, that is an affiliated Head Start with an ISD, meaning the child has to be free before September 1. Just like any of you that started your children in school, that September 1 is hard and they don't change. You gotta get that September 1 birthday. So we do run into that. There is talk about making a transition room or 2. We just don't have the space right now. Staffing is also sometimes difficult for us to find enough teachers. But our teachers get full benefits and retirement plans. But finding the workforce as you are trying to find volunteers sometimes is a challenge. I hear you asking for volunteers.
That was my next question. What are the volunteer opportunities and what are the, assuming their background checks and so forth, but if someone wanted to volunteer, what should they do? And
Just contact me or come over to the center. We have people that come in and like to read. We have people that want to just come and help do some yard or just do some in-kind business. We do depend upon volunteers to help out the program. The parents are very good at volunteering. We are very father proactive. We want these dads to take a part in these young children's lives. So we do a lot of father initiatives that we have. We have parent meetings monthly. They have a officer group there. They're active, very active group. So, if you want someone to come over and talk at the parent meeting sometime and, like, you want to volunteer, I also volunteer. Just saying. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
mention that it's a grant funded program. These are federal grants or state grants or
Federal. We're Head Start is a federal program. They do have to be adults. Yeah, we can't babysit the teenager. I'm a virgin free person, so I didn't, not even sure I want to be around my own teenagers sometimes.
Are you open to seeing people with, volunteer,
I'm sorry.
or volunteer, children and family on the board?
What about it?
Oh,
Would you guys like to attend?
Yes, yes. Well, I'll get with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably will be the one that comes. So if you don't mind me coming, I will be happy to come.
Yeah, she can get you more information.
Okay. Yeah. Well, definitely, if I can't come, I'll make sure that we get somebody there, but we do a lot of, we've done the zoo booth, we've done recruitments and various things, so, I mean, we'll have, if you have parents there that want to go on that, you know, hey, here's a head start, maybe early head start. Take one, of these, scan that QR and stuff that we have, so we'll that's off the cell phone. And all our parents and our babies, and that's the other thing, parents, the teachers are not allowed to have cell phones in the classroom. There is no video equipment other than the safety cameras in the room. They do not get to watch TV. They are singing, they are dancing, they are doing music, they are doing center time. So you're not gonna, like some child cares, you go in and they're watching Barney or whatever the flavor of the month is for young children now. We don't have any of that. They are not allowed to have that. Their cell phones stay locked in lockers. So they're not, the teachers are not even on their. So we are very particular about the care of our children. They're our children, so. What are the questions? You guys make great questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.